Good morning. This is Tuesday, February the 6th. I'm Ron. Welcome to Story Time. And today I'm going to be reading from an issue of The Rake, which is it's called The Modern Voice of Classical Elegance. And again, it's another one of those GQ on steroid magazines with lots of pictures of people in expensive clothes and expensive perfumes, etc., etc. And the article I'm going to read is The Letter from the Founder, Wei Ko, who is the founder and editorial director of The Rake. And this comes from the September 2017. This is a September 2017 edition of The Rake. When people ask me how I got into dressing up, I tell them it was New York and the siren call of her nightlife. It was her bars and nightclubs, like a Promethean arc slingshotting me around the sun and down into the equally incandescent, fluorescent neon underbelly that defined my teen years. While Springsteen conjured up madman drummers bummers in his paean to the omnipotence of adolescent onanism, when I think of being blinded by the light, I see the hyperkinetic light show projected onto countless graffiti-strewn walls and refracted through my corneas and directly and indelibly into my brain. I think of New York City. I think of Danceteria, the Mud Club, the Peppermint Lounge. I think of area and of how those of us in ninth grade at the Trinity School managed our status as alleged prep school denizens and our citizenship of Manhattan's nightlife with an increasingly slippery grip on academia. I remember falling asleep in my AP French literature textbook as the sonic refrain of DJs like Mark Cammons, Justin Strauss, Johnny Dynell, and even Africa Bambaataa replayed in my cerebellum while I smelled the residual cigarette smoke from the Mars Bar or downtown Beirut on the sleeve of my Brooks Brothers blazer. From the age of 13, growing up in New York City, I had the ambition to be a permanent fixture in this throbbing, seething, constantly grooving underworld, and it was the clothes that got me in the door. My resulting style was an eclectic mix of prep school, read Brooks Brothers and Paul Stewart, meets thrift shop. Shantung and silk jacquard dinner jackets with rolled-up sleeves, with aspirations to the modern Italianism of Giorgio Armani, Gianni Versace, and Very Umo, curated by the seminal Charivari on the Upper West Side and the deconstructed Japanese design of Comme des Garçons and Yohei Yamamoto, championed by the iconic parachute in Soho. And always Ralph Lauren. Always. While the schizoid mix was anything but sartorial, it did have the desired effect of letting me slip undetected past the doorman or bouncer to join the Marlboro-smoking, Amstel-slugging fracas within. And what I remember most about New York in the 80s, the city that made me, the city that then, now, and forever will shape my worldview, is the unbridled, irrepressible energy. New York was on the most delicious collision course with everything and everything else, where art, music, cinema, literature, young, old, rich, and poor were constantly careening into each other, resulting in the most blinding and seductive energy. Where else could you, as a 13-year-old, witness a reading by William S. Burroughs, an exhibition of street artist Keith Haring, or Jean-Michel Basquiat's band Gray and the Talking Heads rocking the crowd as you might on any given evening at Area or the Mud Club? In what other city could Studio 54, already on the wane, and CBGB, the seminal punk club at the time racing full throttle towards obliteration, coexist in the same geographical boundaries? Even as a college student at Vassar in upstate New York, I spent almost every weekend of 1987 in Manhattan trying, with occasional success, to gain entry to what was then the most thrilling nightclub in the universe, Nell's. And Nell's operated on the principle that made New York great, and that was its fairness and democracy. Anyone had a shot. You just had to take it. It was well known for turning away movie stars and bankers and other assorted glitterati, and the only way to get into Nell's was if you brought some undercurrent of unique energy that its proprietor, Nell Campbell, would deem would add something to the heady and intoxicating human cuvee within the surprisingly small and intimate crucible of cool behind her daunting velvet rope. And the only way that you could express this had to be quick and ineffable through your posture, your attitude, and yes, your clothes. When on one of those rare occasions I was permitted entry, I later asked her why it was she let me through. Her answer, remarkably enough, was, "Your blazer. I like the way you wear it, like it's your bathrobe," essentially encapsulating with haiku like economy all you need to know about how to wear clothes at the Rake. So this issue is dedicated to Nell and the glorious, irrepressible, resilient, and nurturing neon god of a city that gave birth to us both. New York, forever. And again, that was a letter from the founder, Wee Ko, the founder and editorial director of The Rake, the modern voice of classic elegance, September 2017 issue. And I liked the way he wrote the article. It's a little bit hard to follow because it seems that it's a little bit over embellished with large, $25 words, but it's fun and interesting at the same time. Kind of does give you the. I've never been to New York, and it gives me an idea of what New York was like in the 80s. So um, tomorrow is going to be the 7th of February, Wednesday, and I will be doing a little storytime extra, and then on Thursday I'll go back to reading something. I haven't decided what yet. Maybe a little Ayn Rand, maybe another selection from a magazine. We'll see. But thank you very much for joining me, and have a great day.